One of the most important things to learn in life is to actually recognize your own limiting habits and beliefs and to break free from them. When it comes to our career journey in our early 20s, it's really hard to tell what really matters to progress quickly in our career. If you're lucky, you have a great manager that guides you, or you have a fantastic mentor that helps you. But many of us are trying to make it on our own, that with little to no help. And that's where things can go horribly wrong, because women have been brought up differently to men, and we've been taught different things as little girls growing up. Be polite, be humble, don't be loud, bring home excellent grades. In other words, society has conditioned us since an early age to think that we need to be perfect at everything. We need to be perfect at everything, but we also need to look pretty all the time. Fast forward, we are now entering the business world and the corporate world, and we work in the same industries that men do, right? Finance, insurance, tech, or pretty much male-dominated industries. But here's the thing. Women don't receive any training actually entering the business world or the corporate world that helps them to unwind some of those limiting beliefs and habits that they've created as little girls, right? Trying to be a good girl, trying to be a good daughter, and now entering the corporate world where some of these habits actually create a disadvantage for a woman. Entrance phase 20. If you're new here, I'm Nicole. I'm an ex-sales director with more than 13 years of experience in tech. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 of the most common bad habits that women share and that hold them back in their careers, and then also tips on how to break free of them. Now let's go all the way back to our childhood, where we've been taught to try and fit in. Go to school, you don't want to be a troublemaker, you don't want to be loud, you just want to bring home good grades, be a good girl. Now this is a great example of a habit that we created early on in our childhood that served us well in the past. So we kept on doing the same thing, we kept on repeating the same routine. The harder we studied, the more detailed our work would be, the better the grades, and the better the reward. Your parents would be really proud of you, your teacher's happy, your friends are looking up to you. Amazing. So you automatically get rewarded and get all the great attention for all your hard work. It's been paid off. Well done. This system then also really helped you and worked out well at university. So you repeated the same routines, worked out, job done. You graduate, and now you enter the business world. That deserves a little tea break. Right, so you made it till here, all your hard work is finally paying off, you are landing your first corporate job, and you're just so proud. And not only that, you're now also running your first major client meeting, you win the client, and you just feel like you want to high five the world. You're super excited about it. And you expect your manager to come over and be like, hey, well done, amazing job, congrats. And there is nothing. Your manager moves on as it's like business as usual, 20 other things are more important, and you are sitting there and thinking, what the heck? Here comes habit number 1, expecting others to automatically recognize your great work. I first read about this in a book called How Women Rise, and this is a habit that's just so unbelievably common amongst women. I get it, it worked well up until here. Your manager won't keep track of all the great things that you have done or has even the time to do so, or is going to reward you with, a promotion, a salary rise, and all these great things. Your manager is most likely not even aware of half of the things that you're actually doing, and is not keeping track of all of the things. They have a million tasks on their desk, they report to the top, and they just have so much responsibility. You just coming back from a client meeting and having done a great job might not be a priority that day, unless you make sure that they are aware of it. And there are 2 things in which you could do that, right? 1 is to tell them about it, and 2 is to work even harder to make a point of what you've just done is amazing. So what do you think women do? A or B? B is the answer, and it brings me to habit number 2. Great work speaks for itself. So the harder I work, the more I will receive the rewards, and my manager will sooner or later see what an amazing employee I am. Not happening, my friends, so keep on watching, because here comes limiting belief number 3, which is everyone in your business, everyone in your company, including your manager, applies the same logic as you do. But if you work in tech, finance, or insurance, the chances are that your manager is actually a man. They make decisions based on different criteria, and also bear in mind, you haven't even told him about any of your great work yet, right? So you just decided to work even harder to prove a point. But if you are an early career professional, chances are you're reporting into a middle manager, so somebody that just has like a lot of responsibilities, reporting up to the top, having to make sure that whatever they do is in the interest of the business and is helping themselves, right? They are probably in middle management, not to stay there forever, but to actually go through the ranks. So they are very much interested of how they position themselves in front of other senior leaders in the business. And they have a lot of pressure coming from the top, right? So their neck is on the line constantly. And here comes where you and your logic are completely wrong. If you're a well-performing person and you're doing, a great job, you're working even harder now, and you're not asking for anything in return, you haven't asked for anything, for any pay rise, promotion, your manager just thinks, oh, great, don't have to focus here. Great. I just focus on all the problems and all the things that I do need to fix right now. They will not think, oh, that girl works super hard. Amazing to see that. I know I'm going to take her out of that role that's working really well for her at the moment, and I put her into a different role, makes more work for me because now I need to train someone else to come and actually, take on that job and that responsibility. No, they are busy individuals. Of course, they're trying to avoid any sort of extra work that could be added to their plate. So why would they do that if you don't bring it up and push for it? And speaking of promotions, number 4, another limiting belief that women create early on in their lives, it goes back to the A student mentality. Things like, I need to close this project first and then I can ask for a pay rise. Or I need to be promoted in my current company first so that I can then apply for a new job with my new job title.
Like what?
Let me tell you something. If you close that project first, you're giving away all of your leverage for your negotiation. What urgency can you create around your pay rise or your promotion if you've already given the company everything that they wanted? The project is closed, the deal is done. Why would they need to act on this matter now? Whilst if you're still in the middle of a project, you are the person that's running the project, and let's say it's Q4, it's an important deadline that the company needs to hit, and you make a point that you are not happy about your current salary. The company is going to take that call very differently and with a lot more urgency. So you got to bring this stuff up once you still got some leverage. You got to let go of these stories in your head that tell you that you need to prove your worth first. Deep inside of you, you already know that you've done that. Subconsciously, you are putting your foot on the brakes. So you're making up some stories and some reasons that stop you from actually going to your manager and having that perhaps uncomfortable conversation about money, about a pay rise, about you not being happy. I tell you what I think it is. You are hoping that once you've done the work and once the project is delivered, that your manager is automatically going to come and approach you about a pay rise. And there it is again, limiting belief number 2. Great work speaks for itself. No, it doesn't. Wake up. Whilst you are working super hard every single day, every single hour, your colleague David already had 3 conversations with your manager to reinforce the point that he is not happy with where he is right now and that he needs a pay rise urgently. If your company is not supporting him, he is out of here. And guess what? He gets the pay rise much quicker with less work involved, whilst you are still stressing out about working all these extra hours. Number 5, if you are one of these employees that is known to do an amazing job and extra time and extra hours all of the time, your manager is just getting used to the idea that you are somebody that they can rely on, right? So more and more work will end up on your table. You're reliable and you don't push back, ever. Remember, your manager needs to prove to the top that his team is performing really well, and he's going to direct the work to whoever is the most reliable. As long as the work's done, he doesn't care. And if you don't set any boundaries, the work will keep on coming. And you think it's a great sign because all these responsibilities are coming my way, so it must mean that I will be, next in line for a promotion. Again, unless you push for it, that might not be the case. And meanwhile, you're working yourself to exhaustion. You just work every day. You don't even go to the gym anymore. You don't have friends time. You don't really look after yourself anymore. You just get the job done because there's more and more coming now. And all that because you never learned how to set boundaries, how to say no to tasks that just don't really help you, that don't help your project, that don't help you progress in your career. You end up working all the time, but without actually getting any closer to your career goals. Setting boundaries, that's an important one. And then the final habit, and one that I see very often, is that we do tend to pick a career path that looks great on paper. Like when somebody asks our parents, they can say,
my daughter, she's in insurance.
Or we select a job that just looks really great. It's a prestige job with a high earnings potential. I mean, nothing wrong with that, unless it is actually a job that doesn't really make you happy. or if it's not aligned with your core values. If you're a trader, for example, and your core values are family and kindness, maybe not the right industry for you. And you might find it harder to go through the ranks because you kind of work against your own values and what you actually stand for. So when we make all these decisions about our own career track and our own career path, we are heavily influenced, right, by our parents, by our upbringing, friends, social media, school, and we select a career path that looks really good in front of others. But the longer we spend in our career, the more we realize that maybe it's us actually living somebody else's dream. And this can potentially keep you stuck in your career, right? Because you don't see a future in this job. So you don't really progress in the same way as somebody that's really, really ambitious and excited about the work that they do. So before, wasting more years in that career track, maybe consider a career change. Maybe explore what else is out there that is more in line with you and your core values and beliefs. And now there are many, many more habits that can keep women stuck in their careers. But I think the core message here is to check in with ourselves early on in our career journey, just to make sure that we are actually on track with what it is that we want. So you need to be aware of those habits that you have created over the years. So I hope those examples were helpful to start, getting a better sense and feel for those habits and what you can do to actually rewrite some of those beliefs and stories that you've been telling yourself. So for example, if we take the closing the project before you're actually asking your manager for the pay rise, maybe ask yourself why it is that you are actually delaying that conversation with your manager. Do you feel uncomfortable about it? Do you not know how to approach the salary conversation? Maybe do you feel uncomfortable, about having a conversation with your manager as a person? Why is it that you feel that you don't deserve the pay raise right now, right? So try and get to the bottom of it. Great help can also be identity trainings, where you get to the core of it all to understand what stories you've been telling yourself subconsciously over the years, or what values you are actually really living by, or what your belief system is all about. And if you'd like some help with that, check out the Phase 20 online course. It covers everything young female professionals need to know and need to be aware of when they enter the career world. It includes identity training. It includes really cool self-care hacks to not burn out. It includes business tips and hacks for early career professionals and especially women entering the corporate world. This is the training that every corporate girl out there should receive when they enter the career world. So I leave a link in the description box for you so you can check it out at any time. It allows you to finally take action and to just work and identify on those areas that you need to work on. And one of the key elements here is to be aware of your own limiting habits so that you can finally rewrite those stories in your head and finally break free from your own limiting habits and beliefs.